Wobble wobble wobble, this is yours truly, the big J and J, saying welcome along to Adrian J online, and welcome along. Today we're going to be talking about BMW oil changes. So first of all, BMW oil change. Now, what you have to understand with oil changes and oil change frequencies, a lot of it is got to do with economics. Well, at least on BMW, the first 4 years BMW does the oil changes. If they did 6-month oil changes, which they used to do, they would be out of pocket. So they said, oh, we're using new oils, you can actually do your oil change every 10 to 15k. So BMW actually recommend every 10 to 15k. Okay, I actually tried that on the 1 Series, and let me tell you something, the oil came out like sludge. Don't do that, please, please, please. If you love your car, don't do that. 10 to 15k, no way. Now, interestingly enough, on the BMW, and my car is new, my style of change, my style and length of changing has changed. So I'm no longer doing 70, 80 kilometers a day. I've actually come down to about 7 kilometers a day. So I've done some maths. I'm actually doing about 3k a year, 3,000 kilometers a year. So there's no way I can even do 10 to 15k, okay, in a year. But BMW, let me get in camera, BMW will recommend you and advise that at least once a year, regardless of whether you drive the car, even if your car is sat there doing nothing, change the oil, because oil deteriorates. Heat, cold, all kinds of crap, oil deteriorates. So you will get a letter from BMW, as I do, once a year, change your oil, okay? Now, it's BMW's oil change. We come to J's oil change. So, what I do, and I've only started doing this since I've been here in Canada, mainly because of the ease, I do my oil change twice a year. So, here in Canada we have seasonal tyres, so summer and winter tyres, okay? So, we're supposed to change our tyres there and then. So, what I decided to do, and this is my own thing, I decided, well, just an oil change. So when I was doing 80 kilometers, 400 kilometers a week, okay, that added up, okay? So it made sense for me to do that, so twice a year. So I've kind of kept up with it because my oil comes out like honey. It looks clean and clear, okay? And that's just what I want to do. 50 grand's worth of car, I want to look after it, okay? If you love your car, you spend a lot of time polishing, waxing, there's a scratch here, and you're not paying attention to oil, I don't know about that. So I decided to do twice a year, okay? So from the maths, I do 3,000 kilometers a year, which is very low mileage. So I actually do oil changes twice a year, so that's every 1,500 kilometers. Some people think I'm mad, some people think I'm insane. It's my OCD, I don't care, it's my car. When you start paying for my car and anything that goes wrong with it, then you can tell me what I can do with my car, okay? But trust me, it's for me, it's not a waste of money. I'm not destitute. I don't have a lack of money. So if I want to spend 200 bucks on an oil change, it's nothing, right? Honestly, right? So I do an oil change in winter, and I do an oil change in summer. So what I usually do, I take it to my guy, Mike Vales. He does my tyres and he changes the oil out, okay? Now, there is a provisor on this. I do it twice a year, winter and summer, plus, whenever BMW tell me. So if I get a letter from BMW, now this means it's a free oil change and I don't have to pay for it. So hey, I'm going to do that. And because of how often I drive my car, usually I'll only get it once a year, and I'll only get it at the end of the year. So usually I end up doing two changes towards the end of the year, within a couple of months of each other. Again, that's my OCD, and I'm sticking with that. I will also do it when the CBS tells me. So the CBS will come up and say, hey, you need an oil change. So that could be my 3 times during the year, or even possibly 4. Don't care, my car, and I'm doing it my way, okay? And I also sometimes do an oil filter change midway, because gets all the crap out. And someone told me about doing an oil filter only change as well. So technically speaking, on my car, which does 3,000 kilometers a year, I will either do at least 3 oil changes and 1 filter change. Okay, generally speaking, when I've looked back at my records, it's usually 3 and 4. Not all the time 3, usually minimum 2. Let's say place minimum twice, usually 3, sometimes 4, and the 4th is usually oil filter. Okay, or 3 is oil filter. So 2 or 3 plus a filter. Okay, so yeah, so that's just me. Okay, I'm going to use this as a link when people argue about oil and they say all kinds of things. Now, if you want to, I'll tell you, if you want to do oil changes every 15k, or if you only use your car like I do and only want to do it once a year, God bless you, go ahead, do it. Honestly, you know, I'm not going to come down hard on you. It's just the way I want to do things, and you know, I will look after my car, and that's just purely how I do it. Also, another thing which people don't kind of realize and understand is when you do an oil change, shouldn't just be an oil change. You'll get into the engine bay, check coolant, check loose connections, rust, are there any markings? When you get under the car, okay, is there anything leaking from the oil pan, the struts are okay, the boots, everything underneath the car. So an oil change isn't just an oil change. You should be looking at other things. So if you're doing it twice or 3 times, 4 times a year, your car is going to love you for it. My car starts up first time every time. It's reliable. I can get anywhere and it doesn't break down. Okay, so there you go. Now, there's another thing which I wanted to tell you about. Parts. Okay, for some things, I am a total OEM freak. I'm an absolute 100% unadulterated OEM freak. And when I say OEM, I mean dealer. I go to dealer and I want to see this box here. I want to see the box. I want to see BMW. I want to see it sealed. And that is the part. Because too many times I've worked on cars and I've gone to Auto Spares, Auto Sparts, Ted's Cars, whatever it is. And I've come home, the car is in bits on the drive and the bit doesn't work, or it doesn't fit, or it's the wrong part, or I have to order it, or it's some kind of crap, okay? Now, does it mean you need to get everything OEM? Scratch that, you really should. There's not every time you should get everything from dealer. Some parts which are like, I've seen, there are sometimes when I've looked at parts and like 900, well, actually I'll give you a good example. TPMS sensors for my tyres. I went OEM because TPMS sensors are like $200 each, right? And 4 TPMS sensors, $800. No, thank you, not going there. So I paid $80, but I got good recommendations. Majority of people use TPMS, $80 TPMS. So not always, but for certain things, I would always say please get OEM. Plugs, points, filters, fluids. You know you're getting the right stuff. Plus also it's warranted. Right? If it's warranted, get your stuff from the dealer. So this is the official BMW part for the oil filter. The BMW oil, which is this. So it's funny, I thought I was using 0W30 at one point, but when I went there this time they said it's 0W20. They change from time to time, but the main thing is it should be Longlife-17. So I wouldn't even worry about Longlife-17 if you're changing your oil every 3K. And in fact, the Porsche community, we used to do that every 3K. We never messed. There were interference engines. You did not want to mess around and have things break very nasty. What I'm also going to do is, some people say this is a bit of snake oil, but to me it isn't. It's a good idea to add injector cleaner. This is the BMW injector cleaner. As long as you use top tier gas. Top tier gas is a gas which has been recommended by BMW from certain stations, not to be confused with the octane. It's nothing to do with octane. This is the type of the level, the quality of gas. If you use good quality gas, you're okay. But I always find when I'm doing oil change, for God's sake, like $10. It's like it's false economy. People say, well, now oil is only, I can get oil from BMW for $15, I can get it anywhere else for $6. It's, come on, you're like, are you driving a Dodge? Are you driving, a Ford Cougar? Are you driving some piece of shit? No, you're driving a BMW, right? You decided to get a high-end car, a high-end luxury car, a sports car, whatever it is. And if you've got a high-end luxury Ford, high-end luxury anything, you should be treated as such. You cannot buy a car, run it on baked beans and spam. You cannot. So when you buy a car, remember this. It's part of the cost is what you're doing with the car. Okay, so I've rolled the car in, and as said, what we're going to do today is we're going to just do an oil filter change. So I've got a couple of things here just to kind of remind me. I've told you it's Longlife-17. Now, the oil capacity is 5 and something quarts. So usually I get my oil in these. So I get a 6-pack and then use 5 and then top it up with like half. So when I remove the filter, it's going to be about 0.30, according to new TIS, it's 0.30 litres is stored in this. So I'm going to top it up with the rest of this, okay? So let me get the oil filter out. I'm going to kind of show you the oil filter. So this is the oil filter, okay? It's actually by Mahl, M-A-H-L, so you can actually go and buy a Mahl filter if you want to. But the prices for me, I just don't even bother. Also because I use this car for company work, I also claim that back, so I'm not really worried. The kit comes with these two. So this is for the oil filter housing, and this is for the crush washer for the bolt for the oil drain to drain the oil. But as we're not doing that, all we just need is the thing there. So that's the oil filter. Now, what we're going to do is, I think there should be enough light here. I might need to get a light set up. So give me a few minutes. I'm going to go and get a drink, come back out, set everything up, and I'm going to show you how we remove the oil filter. Okay? So don't go away.